What's up, expats and travelers alike? I'm Josh.
And I'm Kalie.
And in this live stream today, we are going to talk to you guys about moving and living abroad. So this one is going to be a general live stream about moving and living abroad. So if you guys have any questions about it, please put it in the chat. And we have actually pulled a few questions from our community tab because we told you guys that we were going to be doing this special. And we can't wait to spend the next 30 to 45 minutes.
Nah,
It'll probably be an hour.
We always say 30, 45 minutes and it goes a little longer. But
so as the comments are rolling in, let's go ahead and get started with some of the questions that we pulled from the community tab.
Okay.
Some of them are a bit long, so we have a ticker that's going to be running. The shorter ones, it'll be just popped up on the screen. Kalie, go ahead.
Okay, love your channel. We're moving to Portugal this summer, 2022, so it's been super helpful. Still have 3 questions. One, wondering how you moved 12,000 euros over to meet the D7 requirement. Looks like Wise will only move 10K at a time due to money. Okay, it's up here. Okay. Due to...
Oh, it's still there. Due to money laundering rules. So how did you manage? Okay, so the question behind that, or the answer behind that, I left it in the community chat, and it has to do with Wise and maybe the Canadian government only allowing 10K. So
at a time, though.
At a time,
so
yeah.
You can still transfer the money. It just, you can't do it all in one
chunks.
chunk. So wait a few days.
So in the US, I believe it's like $1 million. You can move $1 million. Yeah. Yeah.
With Wise.
Yeah. USD.
We really like Wise. We use it personally. We recommend it. It's just, you save a lot of money going that way as opposed to a bank. So just do it over a few days.
Yep. And we'll have an actual link in the description section so you guys can use that and get some money off your free first transfer.
First transfer. Yeah. Okay. So the second one, it's scrolling.
Yeah. Let's just jump to this one and I'll figure out a way to get the other one pulled up. Go ahead.
I just have the other one scroll.
Yeah. I'll figure it out.
Okay. It would be helpful if you could talk about problems with mold, insulation, and possibly how to install central heating, etc. Also your current cost of heating and cooling, if any. Okay. So, hey, how are you doing? So do you want to talk about this or you want to figure that out while I talk about it?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so mold is definitely an issue, especially in the north. There's things I know in the U.S. I think they're called like damp aid or something. Those things that you put around your house. They have those here. I can't remember what they're called, but they're
like dehumidifiers.
Yeah, they're these little things that pop up and you can put those. You can also get an actual dehumidifier that you plug in. There's like different fans that have that as part of the fan / dehumidifier. So there's all of those options. When you're looking to rent, though, you just want to be careful. You want to ask them what the energy rating is. That's a big thing because that deals with how well the apartment and the building is sealed. Mm-hmm. So you want to know about the energy rating. As far as mold goes, though, you just open your windows, air stuff out. You have to be really careful with the moisture so you don't get things like mold in your shoes and stuff like that. So just make sure that you're airing things out. And then as far as heating and cooling goes.
Let me jump in on this one. Yeah. So actually we've talked to some people already that are using their heaters at night, and our apartment is south facing. We live in Porto. So Porto's known to kind of be one of the cooler climates here in Portugal. And these were actually some people that were just north of Lisbon, and they're already using their heater. We haven't actually had to turn on our heater. It was probably maybe a month ago when we stopped using our fans at night because it was still warm. But being south facing, we get the sun all day through our big windows. We have a small place. So heating and cooling bill, we're running around 50 euros right now for heating and cooling. That will go up.
For electricity.
Yeah.
In general,
yes.
Right?
Sorry.
Yeah.
For electricity. Mm-hmm. That will certainly go up once we start to use the heaters. But so far, so good.
Haven't had to, yeah.
It's November 20th right now. Those are for people that are watching this on playback in the future. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
I would say one more thing about central heating. It all depends on if the apartment has been set up for that, because some of the places that you'll see, they won't have anything, even the places for to install the heating and cooling machines that go on the walls, I guess. If it hasn't been set up for that, then you can't, it's a big money thing, I guess, to add those, right?
Yeah, definitely. Plus landlords might not want to do it.
And central heating is not a common thing here either in apartments. So it's more like units.
Yeah. All right. So question 2 is now rolling up.
Okay. So I also see you have moved many times. How painful is it to re-register with Seth, NIF, bank accounts, utilities, all that fun stuff. Let's go ahead and read 3 so that we don't miss it and we can answer that. Okay, and then our embassy in Canada is asking for a 12-month lease agreement. That's a big commitment. So we plan to come as tourists.
Babe,
this is really slow.
Just answer the other question.
Okay, you read
the
other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the transferring stuff, it's not that big of a deal because you can do a lot of stuff on your portal now. So they've streamlined it in the sense that once you have your NIF and everything, you can do that stuff online. The utilities will kind of depend on if you're moving into a place where you're putting the utilities in your name or not. That can be a bit of a hassle if you're moving around, but some places the landlord keeps it in their name and then they just show you the billing you pay. So that makes it a little easier.
Which has always been our situation.
We've done, just to make that easier because it is a pain to set that stuff up.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, but it depends on which scenarios you end up going with. And then for the 12-month lease, yes, there are some consulates that require 12-month lease. You can always put something, at least ask to put that it is, the 12-month is only contingent on whether you get your visa approved. Some landlords will do that. So you can ask about putting a clause in for that. To make sure that you get your visa, and then possibly a clause that after a few months, you're able to leave if something goes wrong or something. So just see if you can get that stuff put into your housing contracts.
Yeah. So the gist of question 3 is talking about how this person wants to book because their embassy is wanting the 12-month contract, and they're going to come over here, I think, and try to find something and get it booked. What's the feasibility of that? Because it is a big commitment to do something sight unseen. We understand that for sure. So they're going to come over as a tourist and book, and then go back, do their D7 process. So what would you say about this? Because I think it's pretty tricky to get something that far out, like in advance.
Yeah, I think the main thing you would want to do is see if you can you can put down at least 1 month's deposit to hold the place, but then your actual rent doesn't start for a few months later at the time that you put in your application. That way you're not paying several months before in a place that you're not going to be living in. So I would try to negotiate that. A lot of people don't like doing a sight unseen thing, but I tell people it's not your forever home. You can make it work. You can always have someone try to go in for you. I mean, people pay other people to do that. There are companies that will go in and try to, video and take a look to make sure there's no mold and all that stuff. So you can do that. Mm-hmm. If you go with a property management company and there are issues, then a lot of times they can move you to a different property that they have. So there's options. I just tell people go in with an open mind and know that it's not necessarily going to be your forever home. So if you don't like it right away, you just got to get through that lease and be looking for something else while you're here. Yep. It depends though, if you want to come as a tourist.
Yep. Let's go to the next question.
Right. Can I spend 6 months in Spain by having the digital nomad visa from Portugal? Is this allowed? Thank you in advance.
All right. So there's technically not something called the digital nomad visa, but I believe what you're referring to is the D7 visa. And the D7 visa can be used by people that can sustain themselves from outside resources. So
individual revenue.
Yeah. Essentially, we're talking about people who are digital nomads, but we actually like to refer to them as remote workers in this sense, because essentially on the D7, you're saying that you want to move to Portugal to live. You're just not going to be moving for a job that's based here. Or you're someone who's retiring and you've got your retirements that you're using. And then there's also the crypto crowd, which can do the D7. Now, with that addressed, this is a really tricky one. You can't exactly spend 9 months in Spain. What you need to do is you need to qualify using 2 paths. One is to be in Portugal at least 6 months and 1 day.
Yeah, they are asking about spending 6 months in Spain, though.
I know.
Okay.
I know. Okay. But I think it's 6 months and 1 day that you have to be in Portugal, or consecutively, or be in total 8 months in Portugal. So can you be in Spain for 6 months? No. Could you be there 5 months and 20 some days? Technically, yes, but that's not the point of the visa. So you could run into issues when you renew. There could be, you could get questioned about it.
Because they're going to ask, and they're going to want proof that you're in the country when you renew. So you want to at least be able to provide, that's where the housing stuff comes in, your bank account, just showing that you're using like your NIF number on, going to the grocery store and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So technically you could do the 6 months and 1 day consecutively in Portugal and be in Spain, but you might be questioned when you renew. Definitely.
Yeah. All right, let's jump to this question about U.S. bank accounts.
Okay, talk about if U.S. bank accounts and investment firms, we will have to maintain them after moving to Portugal. We'll accept Portuguese foreign addresses. I assume you still have bank accounts if you are not residents, but we can't see all of that.
Okay. So essentially what this question is about, and this isn't specific to Portugal, but it's just around the world, is can you have a U.S. bank account while living abroad? Because some U.S. banks don't allow it. Okay. The main thing is it's really difficult to get a bank account remotely while you're living abroad. So being able to like go online and apply for a bank account in the U.S., we've actually run into problems with this for a business banking account, but I think we'd run into the same problems if we were opening up a personal account while living abroad. Can you maintain them? Absolutely. I mean, we've maintained bank accounts for over a decade.
Yep.
So you can maintain them. You know, some banks do want you to have a physical address. So want you to have an address. So if you want to maintain an address, then you might need to go with a service like Anytime Mailbox. So Anytime Mailbox can provide you with a U.S. address that then you can put on your bank statements or application. And then that service will actually take a look at your mail when it comes through, scan it, send it over to you. But
really, I think what you want to do is have something like Anytime Mailbox, which we do have a code for them as well. We can put in the description, but go paperless so that you're not getting any of that statements, like any of those statements mailed to you. You don't need the physical thing anyway. So if you go paperless, you can do everything online, and then you set up your phone with the two-step authentication with iGoogle, Google Voice, iPlum, one of those, so that you can maintain it. Because I would say U.S. banks are quite antiquated with the way they do things, and they normally do not accept a foreign address on there. So you're going to have some service that will allow you to have an actual address, and not a PO box too. I think a lot of them don't want PO boxes, although I think you can, but I think Anytime Mailbox doesn't do a PO box for that very reason.
If you can, use family and try to do email verification instead of phone if it's possible. But really, you might have to, while you're in the States, you might have to change your bank to a bank that is friendlier with people living abroad.
Yeah.
You know, do a Google search on the top banks for that.
Or some that are just completely digital too. There are more digital banks that are coming out for that reason as well.
Yep. Okay. So let's move to the next question from Mark.
Okay. Hi. What coastal town do most crypto people move to? Cheers. Your channel is awesome.
Thanks, Mark. I think that this question is mainly for the Portugal audience because Portugal is known to be very crypto friendly. It's not really an issue of which coastal town do most crypto people move to. I think a lot of people are looking at places like Nazaré. That's where one of the big crypto channels is out of. Crypto Tips, I believe is the name.
So I think it's mainly just wherever you want to live, and
mainly the Silver Coast, though. I think due to the cost of living is a bit cheaper than the rest of the country.
True. Yeah, if you want to be on the coast.
Yeah. Okay. We already did that one. Let's go to this one, and then we'll jump to the comments. Sorry, guys.
Hi, folks. I'm retired and considering Portugal. I found your YouTube channel, and it's very informative. I hope to come for a month or two to recon in the spring. It's going to kind of slow, but this is Dave, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Dave, yep. Dave, we saw your email. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to reply yet. Saw it kind of late today, but I know that you're looking for a place that's a bit more, not Lisbon's too big, not down in the south, it's too hot.
You want something
I think
just
you had
right.
talked about Porto and Aveiro and Gaia, Porto, Aveiro, Braga, any of these places that you're thinking. So you wanted us to chat a little bit about that, like a medium size. So we haven't actually been to Aveiro yet. It's on my list, or it's on our list, of course.
We're supposed to go on Wednesday if it doesn't rain.
Yeah,
but
that's
to shoot a video with somebody.
Yeah. But obviously we'll check out the city as well.
Yeah.
But it's supposed to be really cold and damp in the winter. That we've heard that the wind is really bad because of the water. So there is that. And then Caldas da Rainha, that is becoming really popular with Americans now. A lot of people are moving there. It's definitely smaller. I would say that you would want a car to get out of the city, especially in Central. I think it's easier to have a car to explore more of Central. It's not necessary. You could always rent it if you wanted to, and you don't necessarily need it for certain cities. Like I don't think you need it for Aveiro, or you would need it for Caldas, but to get out, you might.
Yeah.
But they're good options. I think you'll find it, and they're like you said, they're medium size, medium to small. But you will find expat communities there. Yep. They don't feel as city-like as Porto and Lisbon would. And Braga is beautiful as well. Their downtown area is
I really
so
rate
pretty.
Braga.
Yeah, it's so pretty. And it's much smaller, slower pace of life, if that's what you're looking for, compared to a bigger city.
All right, let's jump over to the comment section. Thank you guys so much for being patient here. I really like this first question that has popped up. So this question is from Medu. And the reason why I like it is because we do a lot of content on Portugal, but we are expats everywhere. And we look into cities and countries all around the world. And we've lived in a variety of places, and we're interested in a variety of places. So it's cool to get questions like this so that we can kind of chat it out with you guys. So I'm comparing between the following: Belgium, Montenegro, Georgia, Rwanda, Hsinchu, China, Vietnam, and Estonia. Okay.
What? This is a very big range.
So I wonder what you want us to do with this. We've only been to actually a few of these places. Estonia is awesome. It's getting more expensive. Vietnam is great, but it depends on what kind of weather you want. That area of China is very close to Hong Kong and Macau, I believe. So that has its pluses. It's a massive, massive city. And then we've been to a couple places in Belgium and haven't been to Montenegro, Georgia, or Rwanda yet. So let us know what you want us to do with that. I see a couple more comments from you coming in. There we go. Okay.
The aim is move with the family, start a business, create a revenue of $2,500 to $2,000 monthly, get a passport if possible in 5 years' time. Which can secure these targets best?
Ooh, okay. So getting a passport, let me just jump to that. So, I mean, like, which one of these passports do you really want? Mm-hmm. Right? That would be the question. Probably a European passport would be great. Mm-hmm. I don't know how quickly you could get one with the likes of Belgium. So that would be something to look into. I don't think that you could live on 2,500 that well in Belgium with a family of, what was it?
Just with a family.
With a family.
And start a business.
Yeah, certainly Vietnam's quite inexpensive. I would imagine Rwanda is. Georgia definitely is. Mm-hmm. Georgia and Montenegro will probably be your choices in terms of low cost living and like more of a European laid back lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like we always say, it depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to live. You know, how big is your family? How big of a place do you want? Groceries and going out to eat and all of that. How much does that stuff normally cost you?
Yeah.
So there are a lot of factors that go into it, but you've got quite a range here. But I would agree with Josh, like as far as the passport, you know, I don't think a passport from Rwanda is going to get you very far when traveling and stuff.
No.
Same with Vietnam.
There's not many visa-free countries you can go to on that passport.
The European ones will be better for that.
Yep. All right, let's keep rolling through here. So I'm glad that you guys got the time. So yes, we started at 9:30 here in Portugal.
Yes.
So sorry about that confusion if there was confusion. We just have to do this kind of at night while Valencia's sleeping in the other room. We got to get her to bed. So yeah, that's why we
or else it would be a Q&A with just Josh and lots of noise in the background.
Yeah, there'd be running around and craziness. All right, so we have Gareth chiming in here.
Hey there, expats everywhere. Hope you guys are well. You too, Gareth.
Thanks, Gareth. All right, we have some love coming in from Carlos Ribeiro.
Thank you, Matosinhos. Yeah, hi, Carlos. Hope you're doing well. Gareth, warning. Recently found out wait times for Seth are way longer than 3 months. They are severely backlogged. They don't even want to give me an appointment until the new year. Oh.
Gareth, it's not really a bad thing per se, unless you've got to be traveling in and out of Portugal.
That's true. That could make it bad,
so for you all that don't know, Seth is the kind of immigration branch right now, at least, of Portugal. So Seth is the one after you come here on your D7 visa that you will then have an appointment with to confirm your residency. And yes, there is a bit of a backlog. But the good thing is that when the year that your Seth appointment is confirmed, or you're confirmed as a resident, that's when your fiscal year starts. Mm-hmm. So it could be beneficial.
So if you do it in January, they don't have to worry about taxes or anything for being in Portugal. Year. The year that you're in. I would say too, a lot of people are saying they have a hard time getting in touch with them, and the best thing you can do is call Seth, on a weekday as soon as they open. Anytime anyone has ever told me that they've gotten through, it's been like right when they open, because they don't like to answer their phones, and it's just hard to get through to them. So early in the morning. We have a super sticker.
Super sticker.
Woohoo! Hi.
Thanks
Trav.
Thanks for that super sticker.
Yeah.
All right. So we have hi from Anmol.
Hi.
Hey, Anmol. Good to see you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Here we go.
Okay. Long road home. I like that name. Hola. Thanks for all the great info. We have read that you might need a guarantor to rent. What have you found? So this is something that comes up
from abroad. Yeah.
Yeah, that comes up a lot. And what we have found, that if you at least go through a property management company, or you have your landlord's information on there, then that is considered the guarantor. So in your housing contract, there should be a section that gives like the landlord their NIF number and their information. And that seems to be okay, because it's almost like they are the ones that representing you for the housing as far as that goes. So needing someone else on the side isn't necessary. If you do go through a company, then they can be that person. They can give that information. But if you choose to go on your own, like we did, or a lot of people do, then just make sure in your housing contract you have the information of the landlord, who is the guarantor at that point. Yeah. That's what we found, and that's how we did it, and that's how we found with other people who have done the same thing, that you don't need some side person to do anything.
Yep. All right. So AJ,
Hi.
Amy is shouting out Braga.
Braga, she loves
Amy's
Braga,
a Braga lover. Let me see if I've got something special for Amy right here. Boom, there
Sumal.
She is.
Can you get Sumal in the UK right now?
So if you guys remember, Amy was our social media manager during our content creation project and did an amazing job at that. It was, I don't know how she did it. I'm not doing it. Yeah. Sheesh. All right, let's keep going.
Okay, would you be able to talk a little bit about the Seth dissolution and our January Parliament elections might affect visas next year? Okay, so about the Seth thing, we've mainly just heard that they're rebranding themselves, and they're separating the immigration side of, like, immigration when you go to the airport and you have someone there that stamps your passport, that side of immigration.
Almost like customs / border control, right, type of.
Is separating from what we talk about, Seth, when we say you have to finalize your visa, where you go to
like
the office.
Administrative side.
Yeah, so they're going to create two different branches. Yeah. But when we say Seth and we're talking about all these things for visas, they're going to do the same thing. One of them will just change names. Yeah. That's how that's supposed to end up happening. And that's coming from a Portuguese lawyer that we know. Mm-hmm. But a lot of that is still kind of up in the air because nothing's been finalized. Mm-hmm. As far as January Parliament elections, for visas, obviously everyone knows that when we hit 2022, the golden visa is changing. So that's already set in motion. Yeah. That will happen. Parliament elections and how it could affect visas.
My guess is it's not going to be anything immediate. I think it's going to be slow, would be my guess. I don't think that they would want to make any quick decisions, because we're going to see what happens with the golden visa. Like, what happens to the economy, or what happens to the interest in golden visas once it's shifted away from the major cities and along the coast, and people are incentivized to buy inland. So I think that the government will probably play it safe and see how that goes. But, honestly, who knows? But I can't imagine they'll do anything drastic.
To the D7. Yeah, the D7 should stay the same for a little bit.
Let's keep rolling.
All right. Are you planning on living in Portugal long term, or are you thinking to moving to another country in a few years? Oh, that is a good question.
Yeah, Natalie. So I think at this point we have one more year until our next Seth appointment.
Renewal.
Renewal, I believe, can be done online anyways. So anyways, when we have that, when we get to that point, then we could get 3 years. So we're 1 year away from that, from getting 3. We only have 10 years to be on the NHR. So I don't see us staying beyond NHR, but I think it would be cool to get to 5 years and see what that could mean for Valencia, our daughter.
Citizenship.
She's almost 2. So that could give her citizenship after 5 years. And then for us, I don't know if we would go the citizenship route. Hopefully our Portuguese will be good enough to get citizenship at that point. But good question. I think ultimately we don't plan on living anywhere forever at this point.
I tell people
we will die somewhere.
We have commitment issues, not with each other, but with what country we want to be in. We just feel like there's a lot to explore, and places to go and we like to base ourselves in different areas.
Yeah.
And so we're loving Portugal right now, and there's no immediate plans to leave, but
nope. We just got a super chat.
Yeah.
Let's see what this
Woohoo!
is.
Dino.
All
right. Greetings from Mandelo on the ocean. Sending you some fun so you can drink port with us online. Love, Dean and Julia. Thank you guys.
That's awesome. Let me pull up these. Boom. We've got a little bit of super Bock there. And boom,
wine.
Kalie's wine. But it could be port.
It could be a very full glass of port.
I was going to say the same thing. It'd be a very full glass of port.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. Okay, let's keep going. So Amy wants us to
wake up, see ya.
Wake up, see ya.
I don't even know what would happen if
she
were
crazy
to
lately.
Wake up. She had one of her baby vaccinations yesterday. Thankfully, the last one until she's 5. They get a lot when they're 2, or until they're 2. And she was a little uncomfortable with that. So yesterday was a bit rough, but back to normal today.
Yep. All right, let's address this question.
Okay, how hard is it to get a 1-year lease? A lot of places on eLease are short term.
That's interesting. I mean, we've not really been looking for rents here lately on Idalista, but
when we did look, though, everyone wanted a 1 year lease. Yeah.
Are your settings right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe check your settings, because 1 year is really common. It would be like the couple months is not so common.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be. Yeah.
Especially on Idalista, because that is meant to be more of a long-term portal.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there are some other options. If you can't find on Idalista, you've got like Spot a Home. Is it one? What? Anything else? There's some other ones out there, but yeah, maybe check
for long term.
Long term doesn't Spot a Home.
Spot a Home is good for long term. I'm just a Flat.io. Flat.io.
Yeah. There's another one. Yeah, maybe check your settings. But it is odd for them to ask for short term. That's probably for tax reasons, whatever is being listed. But you should be able to find long-term rentals on there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because when we were looking, like, it was hard to even get someone to do 6 months. They wanted a year. They were looking for long-term.
Keep your questions coming, guys. We see 94 people here. Hopefully we'll grab 6 more and make it a century. But keep your questions coming. Here we go. Medu.
Okay, so back to this. Thanks for considering my question. You have an organized, calm presentation. I'm with my wife. A 2.4-year toddler. Schooling could be expensive outside of Europe. Any thoughts on that? Schooling, that could be tough.
Absolutely.
If you get into the public school system, then it wouldn't be expensive. So that's something to think about. Especially with a young toddler, they pick up the language faster and they adapt quicker. So if you're planning to move soon, then you might be worried about, if they don't speak the language, but they'll pick it up quickly. And especially in places, I would say, like in Belgium, for example, and Estonia, they speak English there. And a lot of them are learning English in school. So I think that you could do the public school system instead of a private or international to save money on that.
Yeah, for sure.
Just check how highly rated the public school systems are in the different places. But then if you go to Vietnam, for example, then private schooling is going to be cheaper anyway. And I think Rwanda would probably be cheaper too. So price compare for that. And thanks for your message. All right. Is it true that for NHR, you will pay 10% tax on income?
Not necessarily. We don't really give tax advice or legal advice on here. So there's my disclaimer. But I would say, honestly, you need to check out which incomes you have are available for NHR. And if you are available to use NHR, it's not super cut and dry. The 10% that's old. So that finished up at the beginning of 2021. So people that were already in, and that was, I believe, just for retirement income, I think. Someone can fact check me on that, but that's done away with. And now it's more like this is the flat tax. So 20% is the flat tax, but you've got to check out, see if what your earnings, if they're eligible for that, because not all of the earnings are. Crypto, I believe, is still tax-free. There's no capital gains on crypto, but we've heard that could be changing. So
that's because it's so new. There's
no legislation on it.
Figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, this is what Gareth said. Pensions, I believe. Yeah, and that's an older rule. Yeah.
But definitely seek out a tax expert. We're in the process of looking for
one. Actually, I think I stand corrected here. Let me think about this. I think it was tax-free was until 2021, and then now it's at 10% for pensions.
Okay.
Yes.
But none of this information is guaranteed. So
no, honestly, like just speak to a tax person.
And we have to as well to get it sorted.
Yeah, I'm not trying to do my own taxes here. And
we don't even do our own in the States.
Well, no, we used to.
But it's gotten complicated. So we got a guy for that too.
Yeah, super chat. Here we go.
Okay, bom dia Porto. Hey guys, great to meet up with you at Casa Guedes. Great food, great Superboc, and hope to see you in April, May. Jeff. Hey Jeff.
Hey Jeff, what's up?
Good to see you too. We still have the cards sitting on the table. I keep saying we need to have game night.
Well, we're gonna bust them out during Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fun.
No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't know if you planned that or something, but game night for sure. I was told that even permanent residency requires a language test, the same for citizenship. I wonder if you know anything about it. So when you get your residency, like your D7, then you don't do a language test. No. It's if you want to become a citizen at 5 years, then you have to have a language test. However, we have been told by people who have done a language course, like an official course through a university or something official, and they pass that course and they get a certificate, and they can use that for their citizenship rather than sitting down and taking a test.
Yeah.
So that qualifies for the language test for passing that.
Yeah.
So if you come here and you take classes, then you should be okay.
Yeah. Got a lot of Portugal questions here. Anybody want to ask us a question about the globe, please do. Let's keep rolling.
We have hit 100 people.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you consider buying property in Algarve versus Funchal from an investment perspective?
Consider it. I think maybe Funchal would give you better values, but it's really hard to say. I mean, Algarve is probably going to continue to just go up in terms of price over the long run. I mean, Funchal will, or Madeira will as well. There's probably better values right now on Madeira, and certainly it could be a part of a golden visa, whereas Algarve cannot.
Oh, is Madeira?
So, yeah, the islands.
The islands are still.
The islands are still okay.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. That's good. I didn't know that. That's good.
I know.
But the Algarve,
and there's some cheap towns or whatever that you can buy in Madeira.
Mm-hmm. I think the Algarve, though, the prices are just really high anyway right now. So they might go up, but for investment, it might be kind of hard to make your money back right away, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of people think about Portugal and they think of prices that were like in the like before 2011. I think prices were okay, but I mean, past 10 years, they've just
gone up. Yeah,
gone up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hey Jimmy, any Christmas celebration are must attends? So in Porto, on December 1st is when the lighting, everything, the city gets all lit up. So they're in the process of putting all the lights up. So every street has some sort of like little light thing. The trees going up in Aliados. It's funny because it's actually all already there, but December 1st is the official day that everything's going to be turned on, which is really exciting because last year they put some stuff up in the streets, but they didn't put the Christmas tree up in the square because they didn't want people to congregate. So now it's really exciting that stuff's going up. And that's a big thing. People go to see the Christmas tree turned on, and down in that area too, it's meant to be like Times Square for New Year's. So in Porto, they have stuff, and I assume it's the same in Lisbon as well. The different squares, probably Lisbon by the water, Porto by the river has fireworks and everything. So lots of things to attend. However, we will not be here this year. We were here last year for it, which is kind of sad because it wasn't as much. But we are traveling for Christmas, New Year's, Sia's birthday. She's a New Year's baby, so she was born on January 1st. And we're going to experience Orthodox Christmas, which is January 7th, with some friends in the Ukraine who are on here.
So, looking forward to that. And we're going to be creating content about that. It'll be the first time that we've left Portugal since arriving. So we've been in Portugal for over a year, haven't left. It's been great. But it'd be great to see some other places. Yeah, we're excited. Gareth is also saying, hey, how about, grabbing a lawyer, been in their ear for 5 minutes. They won't bill you. You want to share the dentist story about not billing? About Sia? Not getting billed, yeah. Yeah, so, I guess long story short, Sia was playing a couple weeks ago with the dog's case, got her leg wrapped around, or the strap wrapped around her leg. It tripped her and she fell mouth first into the coffee table. It was bad. It was really bad. And the building that we live in, pushback, blood everywhere.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You're funny. You weren't even here. I was here.
I saw the aftermath.
My parents were visiting, and my mom and I were here, and it just happened right in front of us. Anyway, there's a dentist in our building, so we wrapped her up and ran her downstairs, and they were really great. And they looked at her, and they said, "Come back later today, and then come back tomorrow." And I went probably about 3 different times. They had us go different times just to monitor to make sure that tooth that was pushed, that nothing happened. There was no nerve damage or any infections or anything. Thankfully, she's all healed and she's fine. The tooth is still pushed back, but I think it's just going to push forward anyways. Her mouth grows. But at the end of all these different visits, I would ask, like, do I need to pay anything? Do I need to pay anything? And they just kept saying no.
Just 3 visits or 2?
3 visits, 3 different visits. And they told me that I didn't have to pay. And even on the last one, they were like, she's good. You can come back in like 5 or 6 months if you want to make an appointment now, or just, call us later. And I was like, I don't owe anything. And they were like, no, it's fine, because they were just it wasn't a super thorough check. I guess, not like a teeth cleaning or anything, but it was really nice that they just took the time to check and they didn't charge me for it.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hi guys. Thank you so much for all the info. It's $2,500 to $3,000 a month, a good income to retire in Porto. Thank you. We're
going to guess that you're talking about USD, and we're going to make an assumption that you're talking as a single. I would say absolutely. Even as a family. I mean, that's basically our budget. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
and again, a lot of it is about lifestyle. Like, how big of a place do you feel like you need to live in? Mm-hmm. We live in a 1+1, right? So Sia has the room, and our bedroom is
700 euros
the corner.
Mm-hmm.
We did a video about that if you want to see what that looks like. We don't need anything big, and we're fine with that. So a lot depends on lifestyle, but it's doable. You can make it work. Mm-hmm.
And we're going to do another, like an updated cost of living video, because I know our number, it's shifted, right? So we're spending much less on housing, but we're spending more in other areas now that like a lot of restaurants and bars and stuff are open.
But less on insurance, because we switched from our international one to our
we've got Medis.
The Millennium
Medis.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's keep rolling.
We have 3 cats. Does this make finding a long-term rental a problem?
It could be a little bit.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to limit how many places you can search for.
I would say, though,
Kalie's going to disagree.
No, I would say 1 cat or 3 cats. That won't matter. No, it's just a pet in
having
general.
A cat.
Yeah. Some people just won't want a pet. But I don't think having 3 cats is going to be an issue.
Gareth chimes in as well.
Yeah. Where you live. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's just, if initially a lot of people will say no pets, but then when you meet them or you go talk to them, some will be okay with it.
Yep. Okay. All right. Jumping here.
Meadow and income point. I don't know if you're familiar with manufacturing business in small scale, but if to prepare a business study, which of the mentioned countries would you recommend? That's probably a question for you.
You know what? Actually, I think this is a good question for David McNeil. Meadow, if you want to email us, we can give you a contact to someone who kind of dives into this kind of minutia for people and gives them an analysis on different cities or countries, and gives you an idea of what could be the best option for you. Yeah, so it's a little hard to give you a great answer on the spot for this one.
Yeah, so good breakdown of all the countries.
Email us at info.
Let me do it.
Yeah, info. Make the introduction. Info at ExpatsEverywhere.com.
Yeah, I'll put you in touch with them.
Info at ExpatsEverywhere.com.
All right. What impact will the increase in minimum wage have on those moving to Portugal?
Well, it shouldn't have too much of an impact, because I would highly recommend that you do not move here if you're only making the minimum wage.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
I think that there are cheaper countries that you could go to. Ecuador would probably be the most obvious one I can think of right now.
Yeah, the minimum wage here is quite low. So a lot of people who make minimum wage, I think, also like live with their family still, or live in shared accommodations to keep the costs down, which is something that I'm guessing you probably wouldn't be doing. So it shouldn't affect. Yeah, it really shouldn't affect you, especially with the increase of minimum wage not going up that much. So it should be okay.
Yep.
Hello from Texas. Question: what country do you think will be the next Portugal? I'm a few years away from being able to leave USA. That is a good question.
Oh, that's so good. So I assume the next Portugal would mean it's pretty simple to get a visa and the cost of living is good, right? Is that kind of how you read it?
Yeah.
I think it's got to be somewhere in Asia.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking if you want to stick to European, I would think more like maybe like a Lithuania.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Lithuania.
Maybe
that's
Latvia?
a good question. I think Lithuania or Latvia would be awesome to live in.
Yeah,
I mean, we've traveled we've traveled a bit in both, and both were very nice. English levels were okay.
That would be maybe actually another, if you're staying in Europe, maybe Bulgaria or Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, well, Georgia's already easy
on the rise.
Already easy to get into. That is a really tough question, because I think what happens with Portugal is you have such great weather here, whereas in any of the other countries that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, not so great.
Yeah, I just mentioned a bunch of cold places.
Yeah, but those are cheaper, easier countries to get into.
Might be
well, maybe not Lithuania or Latvia, but certainly Georgia.
Yeah,
and what was the
Bulgaria.
other one you said? Bulgaria.
Yeah. And might be considering more options for visas in the next couple of years. Yeah. But yeah, as far as weather go, what were you thinking in Asia?
I just think maybe an Asian country is gonna end up becoming the next one. I'm just trying to think, like
Malaysia or Philippines or something.
Yeah, Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Penang can be quite modern, or a more modern way of life. Some of the other cities in Malaysia,
not so much. But it's funny that you say that, because when we lived in Spain back in 2009, we would come to Portugal all the time, and we always talked about being this hidden gem. No one ever came here. Like, no one from the U.S. If people were coming for tourism, they were going to London, Paris, Rome, maybe Barcelona, but no one was going to Portugal. People didn't even know where that was. So it was always the hidden gem.
Some people still don't.
Yeah, it's not part of Spain.
Geography, guys.
But it was always this hidden gem. And we loved, and now it's become so popular for people to move to. And I mean, it wasn't always necessarily a hidden gem for the Brits. Brits would come here on vacation, but maybe not move here, right? It was always a holiday thing, or like the bachelorette party, stuff like that. But it's really on the radar now for Americans.
Definitely.
So it's funny that you say that, because now I'm thinking, what place can we predict? I guess 10 years ago we were like, this place is great.
I really have to think about that.
Yeah, that's a good, fun question, though.
Really fun question.
And we're gonna be talking about that all night.
Thank you very much. We will be. We will be dissecting that. Brunson asks, can you get burrito/taco fillings in the supermarket? Fixings, sorry. Well, fillings and fixings.
Yeah, same thing.
Some.
I mean, I think we have a friend who has a really hard time finding jalapenos. So that's a thing. Yeah. But you can do tortillas. There's like fajita mix.
You can even find, I'm thinking like
beans.
Like at the big continents and Alchin, you can find, refried beans, or you can find the brands like El Paso, or like some of those brands. Maybe not El Paso, but some of those brands.
Yeah, you can find stuff. No, it's going to be a little more expensive, and it's going to be in the ethnic food aisle.
Yeah.
So.
Boom. So we have
Humberto.
What's up?
Guimarães.
Boom.
The Taco Bell's in the city. It doesn't though. I mean, because they're not. Well, I mean, they're not as good. They don't have as many things that you can offer that they offer as well.
Yeah. But Dino says that Christmas decorations are already up all over Porto. Very true.
They are.
They're affixed to light poles and all that.
But the official lighting day is December 1st, apparently. That's what I read online.
Michael asks, what favorite towns, cities to live up to 50 miles north and 50 miles south of Lisbon?
Ooh. I mean, when we were visiting Setúbal was good, and we like Cascais. Yeah. Those were two, but people like Estoril, Sintra. Would that be within 50 miles?
I think, it'd be within 50 miles.
There's a lot of good options, and a lot of it's about personal preference of what you're looking for in climate, with how many people are around, with housing. Some have more nature, some is more beachy. It depends.
But we just named 3.
There you go.
Let's keep rolling.
Okay, we've heard crime is low in Portugal, but also some things are legal there that are not legal in the USA. Have you felt uncomfortable with any of this? What types of crimes are common there?
Yeah, so I mean, it's quite common to walk around and smell weed.
I think it's decriminalized.
Yeah. I'm not saying anything about criminalization or not.
No, I think here is
but I know
decriminalized.
I know. I'm not saying anything about that, but I know walking around the States, you, depending on where you are, it might be illegal. I don't know. Like, we've been living outside of the U.S. long enough to where you smell it.
The biggest thing here is going to be pickpocketing.
I think what makes people uncomfortable real quick is graffiti. But graffiti in the U.S. and graffiti here in Portugal, it seems like they mean 2 different things. Graffiti here is certainly not.
It's all over the place, and it's more like street art.
It's not gang related.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yes. There's a lot of street art. There's a lot of tags and stuff too, but there's a lot of really pretty looking graffiti and street art that's nice. But I think your biggest thing is going to be pickpocketing. And I know, like, for women, there's like cat calls and all that stuff. Oh, because that's the other thing. Prostitution is legal, but you can't have like a third party.
No pimps.
No pimps, yeah. So there is that. And so I do know of women who have been approached as if they were a prostitute, and they're like, no, not a prostitute. Because it's common here. Yeah, it's stupid. Nothing violent though, nothing violent. So I think what you're going to find is maybe more stuff like that, and pickpocketing would be probably the biggest thing. So just watch your wallet and purse.
Yeah, people are not very aggressive here, which is great. Like, it's odd if someone comes at you aggressively. So yeah.
And I have heard that a lot of stuff is not actually reported. You know, some of these smaller things, maybe some pickpocketings if you lose your wallet, but maybe some domestic stuff, or, you know, this thing like the cat calling or whatever, that type of solicitation is not reported.
Super chat.
We feel safe.
Yeah, we do. Oh my goodness, why isn't it popping up?
Hi, Alan. Go down to
Let me drop here. Sorry, guys. There we go.
Beer, wine, pastry, and bone for everyone plus Pincho here.
There we go.
Pop that stuff up, and Pincho doesn't actually have one, but he's going to be mad at me. He's sitting in my lap, and he's like, "Why did you just wake me up?" Look, he looks a little stunned, but
that's all right. He can be
stunned. Treat for Pincho. Okay, and back down.
Yeah, please. Like that. He did not like that.
He was like,
okay. So what do we think of Tamar versus Algarve? Ooh. We're not Algarve people. We just don't like
they're very different though.
The vibe down there. Yeah, they're absolutely different. The weather's going to be different.
I would say actually like
the pace of life.
You could compare like a Tamar to maybe like a Lule. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing.
So it's away from the coast, but smaller, a little more nature. Tamar's really pretty. It's got these amazing botanical gardens. It's got a lot of like fountain areas and stuff. It's small though. It's small.
Lule's not actually that small. The population's quite large.
Yeah, but I would say the vibe of those two would be comparable.
Absolutely.
But again, personal preference.
What's up, Evo?
Hi, Evo.
So Jim is thankful to Gareth. Melinda, hey.
Hi. Clint, do you guys think the influx of people of applying for a visa in Portugal will reduce the chances of others getting approved in the near future? That's a good question. We've actually been asked that a lot.
Yeah,
I have my thoughts.
I mean, let's see what the net migration does in the next year, because Portugal's at a net negative migration. And I think that from what I've heard, Portugal, the government wants to create a situation where their migrants, their immigrants, people that have left Portugal, they want to bring them back. They want to bring Portuguese nationals back. So I think they're probably going to try to change some legislation so that people will come back to the country. What that'll do for foreigners moving here, I'm not 100% sure, but it could in the future, but not in like a year.
Yeah, I think they're like Josh said earlier, they're probably going to see how the change of the golden visa goes. But I think that they're going to make it more difficult. The requirements are going to change to make it more difficult. And so that's probably going to mean putting more money in your bank account, showing more like higher financials, not just that minimum wage that Portuguese make, because I think they're going to realize that that's quite low for standards of people retiring and what they can do, like drawing off Social Security and stuff. So I don't think they're going to do away with it. I just think that the requirements will slowly change, making it a little more harder financially, in a sense, like requiring higher finances.
Super chat.
Whoop, whoop. Do you think it's worth it to come to Portugal and rent a place before applying for the D7 as opposed to doing it from the US through some realtor company? That is all about personal preference.
Yeah.
Josh and I have
and it's burning a little bit of cash.
That's
right?
true. If you want to pay for the cash, I guess, or
pay
you'll
be paying in advance. Like what I mean by that is you'll probably be in a situation where you'll need to be paying for a place without being able to live in it. Because you'll have to go back and it could take
2 months
more, no?
To apply?
They've got 2 months.
Yeah.
Could take 90 days. Yeah.
Josh and I moved to several places sight unseen and just kind of went with it.
I think this is why we really recommend working with a larger agency that's reliable. I mean, a company like Spot a Home as well can help mitigate some risk by going into the place that you're looking at or looking for and checking it out. I don't think that you're ever it's ever 100% risk free, even going with these big companies in terms of like what's mold going to be like, or, you know, the insulation issue. It can be a bit of a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
But asking what energy ratings are and seeing, you know, that grade can help out a lot. It can maybe mitigate some of those risks.
I mean, because the place that we lived in when we first came here, you know, a few months in, the roof started leaking. You know, they didn't know that there were building issues. So that's always something that could happen. But again, like I said earlier on this live chat, like, don't go in it thinking you're finding your forever home, because you just think it's with zero expectations and it's just going to get you what you need. And then when you get here, you can get, you know, you're on the ground, you can figure things out yourself. And actually being here once you get used to the city that you're in. So just go with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We had a lady help us get some documents arranged for our container to get shipped from South Africa. I had to almost beg her to bill me for her time. We've actually known of a lot of people, like you were saying before, Gareth. Yeah. Lawyers and everything. Yep. Is there a website that lists PT immigration lawyers like BUB in the States, for example?
Not like Better Business Bureau that we've found, but yeah, I mean,
but if there's any Portuguese on here actually that maybe would know something like that, but we haven't found anything.
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, you can reach out to us for sure. We have a couple that we recommend, and we don't mind passing you along to them. Mm-hmm. They have they're different price points as well.
Meadow says, God bless you and your children. Children are like rubber. They'll be fine. All I need is love and warmth. It's so true. It was sad when she fell, but they are like rubber. She bounced back quickly.
Yep. Just giving a shout out to Portugal, 4th lowest crime rate in the world. Mm-hmm.
Max is asking, is your daughter in school, preschool? How is that? Good programs. So she will turn 2 in January. And since we're traveling, like my parents were just here, we've got the holidays and then traveling, we are going to look into something for when we come back. There are these things around here called creche, which is kind of like, depending on where you are, like a daycare, preschool type thing. So you go in and you decide which one works best for you and your child. There's also Montessori schools that we're looking into. So we've gotten some recommendations for that. So we've done a few visits and we've talked about openings, because that's the other thing. In Porto, it seems like a lot of them are full, but they're kind of also a bit of a swinging door, people going in and out. So you got to catch them when the opening happens. So she's not in anything just yet, but we're working on it. And there are good programs. And then, the public school starts too when I know when they're 6, I think they have to be in some sort of schooling, 6. But up
and
until
it could
then,
be an accredited like homeschooling program. You just have to register for that,
like international school that's done at home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can do that stuff. Paula, hey guys, good to see you. Capital gains from sale of house prior to moving to Portugal, but in the same year, will we pay tax on that in Portugal? I know, probably need to talk to a tax expert. I don't think you pay that in Portugal.
Yeah, you shouldn't pay capital gains over here for the sale of a house in the U.S., but certainly talk to a tax expert. Yeah, and really depends on when you move here and have that Seth confirmation.
That's true.
For when,
what year?
Yeah, your actual tax residency starts, or tax status starts. Let's jump down. This is an interesting one.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, Giselle, by law, owners cannot refuse rent because of pets.
This is an interesting one, because when you go on Idealista, you will see that pets aren't accepted places. So
we didn't know that. That's interesting.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah. Renee, hello from California. Question. I have heard that the D7 requirements for income has changed and they might ask for 2 years of income in a Portuguese bank to be approved. Have you heard anything on that? Yes, we have heard people talking about that, but nothing is official. What a lot of people are saying, a lot of companies now are telling people, is that because of the changes, it looks better if you put more closer to 2 years as opposed to 1 year, because then it's less likely that you're going to be denied or delayed. And this is kind of where I'm talking about with the whole idea of the D7 requirements maybe getting a little more difficult, but they love to be ambiguous. If you look at the immigration website, they don't even give numbers for a lot of things, or information for a lot of things. So people are just saying, if you have the money and you're going to be moving over here anyway, and when you get here, you use that money in your Portuguese bank account, to just go ahead and put more than that 1 year, because it looks better. But is that an actual requirement? Not right now. It's not. So it all depends. We know people who put less than a year in their account and they still were approved. So it just depends. That's typical to Portugal. It depends.
Depends on who you get on the day.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, Angie. Good to see you. Let's keep rolling.
I know. We've actually been going almost an hour.
I know. I've gotten you on here. So
yeah, I know. We always say 30, 45 minutes. Okay. We're trying to get there before the next election. Hopefully the current rules will hold that long. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think it'd be drastic for them to come in and change a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yep.
Okay, Amy, thank you for the amazing info. Moving to Portugal from San Francisco and looking for similar cool weather with great culture, food scene. Is Porto the best match? Is there another city you'd recommend?
I mean, a lot of people compare San Francisco and Lisbon, maybe because the bridge and.
Oh, yeah.
Well, certainly Lisbon gets hotter than San Francisco in the summers.
There's going to be more culture there because it's more of a mixing pot compared to Porto.
Yeah.
But the food scene here is really good. You can find anything that you want.
Here in Porto?
Yeah. I mean, I think Lisbon's probably the same because it's bigger.
Yeah. So Lisbon certainly has more offerings of international cuisine, but you can still find great food here as well.
Culture,
food. And great food in the north. So if you want regional food, up here is awesome.
Yeah. And I think we have friends who are in the music industry, and Porto's not great for the music industry. But
music scene, I believe is what you mean.
Yeah, music scene, I guess. Yeah. But it's been tough too because a lot of live music and stuff's been closed down because of COVID. So all that's just kind of got to be woken up now. So they're in the process of that. But yeah, that's a good question though. Lisbon will just offer more. Porto would be next though, I think, compared to others. And then you start hitting the smaller cities.
Yeah.
Which have a lot of culture. Actually, the small cities have a lot of culture.
Tons of history. I mean, we're talking about places that are 1,000 or 1,000 years old, 500, 700 years old, whatever. Yeah.
All right. How do you meet new people in Portugal? Well, lots of different ways. There's meetups. There are a lot of people in Facebook groups and WhatsApp chats, and then there's actual events like meetups and.
Well, David McNeil just had a meetup on Tuesday. So I went to that meetup. There were, I don't know, maybe 20 people there. It was cool.
You meet people at bars, just you find common interests and things. And you just start chatting with people.
There are definitely expat hangouts. So there's going to be bars and cafes in each of the bigger cities that expats are known to go to, foreigners that are known to go to. That are going to be speaking English. But in terms of meeting Portuguese people, it's not difficult per se to meet Portuguese people. Having kids will absolutely help that because you'll have school functions and you'll have
even just on the playground,
daycare on the playground,
and the little ones.
Yeah, that's a bit easier. If you don't have kids, borrow someone's kid.
Borrow. That's awful. But yeah,
give them back.
But yeah, just meeting people just out that common interests, we have a friend who's gotten into sailing, and so, or just, and then hiking. And she just gets in these different groups and there's, where so-and-so's driving out to this place. And she meets a lot of random new people that way. Yeah. So hello. Can you come as tourist visa free under 90 days? Depends on your passport.
Yeah, it depends on your passport. But if you're U.S., Canada,
or British
UK,
now, they fall under that. Yep, tourist visas for 90 days.
Which is why Amy and G had to leave us because they only had 90 days. Sorry.
Okay.
I think
they've had some cross conversation. Yep. Great chat. Have you heard anything about possible COVID restrictions coming back with increasing infection rates over the past couple weeks?
We haven't heard anything. It's been good because we've heard some other countries are around us are gonna.
I know. We're supposed to be going to Germany and see the Christmas markets over Christmas.
That's one of them.
And they're having issues. But in Portugal, the plan was always when the population got to a certain vaccination percentage that things would ease up. So, we hit that. And even those numbers are going up a little bit. There's no talks right now of more restrictions happening.
Yep.
So hopefully that stays.
I know.
Hello, once you've obtained your D7 visa, can you switch your health insurance from private to public, or is that only possible for citizens? No, you definitely get on the public.
We switched it. We made a video about it. Yes.
Yeah. So what you do is as soon as you get your residency, then you get your UDENT, which is your SNS number, and that gets you into the public system.
Yeah.
And then after your initial health insurance that you got for your D7 visa finishes, then you can top that up with a private, and that's what we did.
That's what we did. Yeah, sorry.
Well,
Yes.
we did both.
We did both.
We have
Yeah,
our
but
public number, but the private just tops it up and helps with different hospitals and different things like that. And it's not much more expensive. So we did that. That's the one that we have the video on through Millennium. But yep, you don't have to be a citizen for that. You get that as a resident with your D7.
Yep, we've got a super chat.
Woohoo! Thanks so much for providing such great info on the ground there in PT. No problem.
You're
Love
welcome.
to help that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Yes, thank you.
All
Let's
go here.
Okay. Oh, I used to pay $1,000 a month in US, so I love my local Portuguese health insurance.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
EI is saying 16,000 in the bank.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Some of those bigger companies, if you're going to hire someone, they're not going to tell you to put the minimum. They're going to err on the side of caution, and they're going to even do higher than probably what you need. So that you don't get denied, because that doesn't look good for them if you get denied.
Yeah.
So while nothing is official, this is what is being recommended at this point. In our D7 DIY course, I still talk about that minimum that they give you and how it always looks better, of course, if you put more than just the minimum. But that's what the number is right now.
We have a ton of comments about insurance in the chat. People are chatting about how much they're paying for insurance. I think that's probably a good time to wrap up. So we're gonna wrap it up there. We thank you guys so much for being on this, and we're gonna try to come back in like maybe 2 weeks. If you guys aren't already subscribed, we'd love if you'd hit that subscribe button, because we're trying to grow to at least 40,000 before the end of the year. But you guys have helped make this community so awesome. Thank you so much. You want to say any final things?
No,
that's it.
I think that's it. I guess see you in 2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
For the Americans out there, we've got Thanksgiving coming up, and then I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks, and hopefully be vlogging around our different travels and the holidays.
All right. So we'll talk to you guys later. Now let's get moving.
Bye.
Bye.